right, I sat down with Senate Majority Leader John Thune a little bit earlier today. It's very interesting. Please take a listen. All right, with great pleasure, joining us now is Senate Majority Leader, Mr. John Thune from the great state of South Dakota. Mr. Leader, thank you. Appreciate you doing this very much. Difficult times the last few days. Your reaction to this awful Charlie Kirk situation?
Well, heartbreaking, tragic, totally uncalled for, and justice needs to be served. But to his family and his friends and supporters, our prayers. I mean, it's just a really hard time. But I think the thing that, you know, he inspired a generation of Americans, Larry, to get involved in public discourse in a way that, and I think part of it was that he had strength of conviction, which I think people find attractive. He inspired people to, young people to serve causes greater than themselves. And I think a lot of young people today are looking for that kind of motivation. And obviously, he had a passion for it, for sharing it. There was a spirituality about him that I think, you know, people today find infectious and attractive. And so anyway, a great loss and to the conservative cause. And hopefully there will be those who step up now to fill that void. And we've got to do better as a society. And I think, you know, unfortunately, there are an awful people now who get radicalized on social media. And I think there's an incumbent upon all of us, people in my world, people in your world, to try and dial down the temperature and have these disagreements. And you can believe strongly and have strength of your convictions, but do it in a way that doesn't resort to political violence.
My God, it just has to. Let's move on. I mean, here's another case. Senate Democrats have been blocking Mr. Trump's nominations on the floor of the Senate now for 8 months plus. So you are taking what's sometimes called the nuclear option. You know, you debate, cloture, you're going to vote on this. As I saw, I believe you won this vote 53-45, so that's pretty convincing. You had everybody in your conference voting with you, I presume. How much can you put through now on these nominations? I mean, Trump's own appointees have to run the government. I mean, people talk about managing the government. They won't confirm them to manage the government.
Right. Well, and I think they left us no alternative. I mean, Chuck Schumer and the Democrats broke the system. This is unprecedented. It is historic. This blockade that they put up, they are forcing the Senate to be nothing more than a personnel department by having to go through all the various steps. And, you know, previous administrations, as recently as the Biden administration, by this point in the Biden presidency, we had confirmed, I think, 76-ish number by unanimous consent or voice vote. And by the end of his administration, over 530. And, you know, that's down from previous administrations, which isn't a good trend, but these guys took it to a new level. The Schumer-led Democrats literally broke the system. We have to fix it, and we needed to take the steps to do that because you're right. The president needs to run the government, and how do you do that without having your people in place? So it's an unfortunate set of circumstances, but it required a response that it was necessary to fix the problem.
One little narrow slice of this, Mr. Steve Myron, Professor Steve Myron, the CEA chair, taking a leave of absence to go to the Fed. He got through the banking committee. Can you get him confirmed in time for this coming week's Fed meeting?
Yeah, we're set up to vote on him on Monday, and it's 2 votes. There's a cloture vote and then a subsequent confirmation vote, but hopefully we'll have him across the floor of the Senate on Monday, so he'll be ready to go.
I just want to ask a really dumb question on these cloture votes, and you're doing what you absolutely need to do, and I believe that the public who follows this would totally agree with what you're doing. Did you talk to Chuck Schumer about this and say, why are you doing this?
I did.
I mean, did he have a response?
Well, I mean, his answer is, and I'm like, Chuck, I said, what you're doing is unprecedented, it's historic, that nobody's ever done this. And his thing is, well, John, these are historically unqualified nominees, but you know, that is not an argument particularly given the fact that many of the nominees and the ones that are held up that we want to vote on are nominees that came out of the committee, and in some cases are coming to the floor with Democrat support. They were bipartisan coming out of the committee. A lot of these other ones that we're talking about are nominees to positions that in the past have been confirmed by unanimous consent and voice vote. So these are people who ought to be no-brainers, and this is nothing more and nothing less and nothing else than petty partisanship. I mean, there's no explanation for this, Larry, and they just want to be against everything that President Trump is for.
Moving on, just one more piece of business on the renaming of One Big Beautiful Bill into the, what is it, the tax cut for working people. Do you remember I called you last December? I just talked to Mr. Trump about it, and I said, I want one big beautiful bill, and he said, yeah, I want that. And you call Thune, call Johnson. So I called you.
Yes,
you and I have known each other for a great many years, and you had said something like, well, yeah, he told us at the Army-Navy game, I think. So it became the One Big Beautiful Bill. Right. Now you want to rename the bill. Is that going to work? I mean, how's that playing?
Well, I think that One Big Beautiful Bill may be baked in. I think your idea had staying power. Yeah, there's semantics and all that in terms of selling it, but I think people appreciate it is one big beautiful bill.
Yeah.
It will be very good for the economy. It addressed all the major agenda items on the president's agenda, including border security, national security, energy, obviously tax relief for working families and for businesses, and then spending reductions that we haven't seen literally in at least a couple of decades. This is the first serious entitlement reform done in the time that I've been in office. So it achieved a lot of things that I think many of us who are conservatives in Congress have been trying to achieve for a long time, and it took the president to help push it across the finish line. But I'm fine with one big beautiful bill. That's how I talk about it, and if people want to rename it, more power to them. But.
Well, one last thought. President Trump was talking today on Fox and Friends on a number of subjects, of course, Charlie Kirk, but other subjects too. We're making a lot of money on the tariffs so far.
Right.
Now, I know there are court decisions. I don't want to get into that, but probably this calendar year, you'll make a couple $100 billion in tariff revenue. It might be as much as $300 billion in tariff revenue. And I've thought a lot about this, and I know there are different proposals. How about just turning those revenues back to the taxpayers, just turning them back to the taxpayers?
And
what do you think?
That's before you allow government to spend it, for sure do that. But
right.
I also would say pay down debt. I mean, I think that's a useful.
So I split the difference.
Yeah, okay.
I'll split the difference.
We'll go halfway.
I'll give him seriously $150 billion tax cut.
Yeah.
All right, and then I'll maybe put $150 billion towards the debt. Yeah. I could live with that.
I think that's a fair.
You think others would?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think there's those of us who are sort of fiscal hawks are saying we've got to restrain spending, we got to have growth in the economy, get more revenue coming in, but and that starts to level the balance the budgets over time, or balance the fiscal books. But I do think that to the degree that tariff revenue is coming in, and if there is a way in which you can use it to offset or reduce the tax liability for the American people, I think the goal in all this is to make the federal government smaller and the American people's wallets bigger. And so anything we can do that reduces the size and the cost and the debt of the federal government through these tariff revenues.
Consumers may pay part of it, so that's why I like the idea of putting in what money we can back to them. So I hope you all consider that. Yeah. I just want to say, before I lose you, everybody I know says that John Thune has done a terrific job as the Senate Majority Leader. Everyone I know, my whole crowd.
Well, thank you.
Why did you know that? Why did you know that?
Tell your crowd thank you. I know you run in a good crowd. So.
Well, I mean, it's been a tough haul. It's a very difficult time, and you got the bill through, and there's plenty more to do. And you're doing this. You're doing the nominations thing like you have to do it. So it's a pleasure to see you. Thank you for stopping by. We
Always
appreciate
good to see you, Larry.
Very much.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Senator.
See you around the neighborhood.
All right, there you go, John Thune. And I think he is doing a very good job, by the way, and it's not easy.